Good morning.
How are you?
I'm home.
Good.
I know that's not a state of being, but I'm home and it feels a little awkward after being on the road for a couple weeks. So
I understand that.
thanks for holding down the fort last week.
That was great. I didn't have anyone to disagree with me. All of my opinions were correct.
Perfect. A totalitarian society, exactly
Yes.
what you need.
Yes, exactly what I need. It was good. So there was a lot of things that happened last week in the travel world. So
What were some of your favorites?
I thought it was interesting that parts of Mexico are now instituting a vaccine mandate for like restaurants, bars, like indoor stuff. In certain
Kind of like what you
states.
see in the EU.
Right. So one of the more popular destinations was PV is doing it. So that state, that was kind of a surprise. So because PV's
Okay.
been a very popular destination for people.
It is.
So as I said last week, it's getting harder and harder for the unvaccinated to do things.
Sure
Um,
is.
so their options are turning into Gulf Shores, um, Pensacola. Like there's just not as many
No shade,
options.
but the redneck Riviera. We're just gonna.
Hey, I've been to the Redneck Riviera many
The
times.
water is beautiful in the Gulf, though. I'm
Mm,
not gonna shade that. It's beautiful.
it's beautiful. Well, I've been to Gulf Shores many times. When I was in, I mean, where I live, it's a very quick drive.
See, that
So,
was your quick drive. Like our quick drive, if we want to go to a beach, is like Emerald Isle, Virginia Beach.
hmm,
That's in essence our equivalent up here.
right.
And then if you're loaded, going to Martha's Vineyard, just going another
Yes, yeah.
way.
No, look, we did like I remember like in middle school going down there a couple times, like in high school, like a church youth camp down to Gulf Shores. Like, I mean, I've been down to that area a lot.
Well, I think, based on where I grew up, for example, there is a lot of Revolutionary War kind of sites. And I used to see people travel through those all the time. And I'm like, it's Fort Stanwix. Like, you just take for granted sometimes just what's around you. Oh, JJ Cruz is in
Hey,
here. Mark
hello.
is in here. JJ Cruz, Indiana. That was my first time to Indiana. Um, it was
She was
in,
the most. It was the most exciting thing to happen in Indiana since, well, whatever happens in Indiana.
that is a fantastic
Can can
quote.
can you name that?
That is from the prom.
Very good.
That is from the prom, and I thoroughly appreciate it.
The prom.
For JJ Cruz, we were going to do a little meetup because they're only about 45 minutes from the hotel I was at, but Jared was stricken with the plague. So,
Yeah, yeah.
hi, Janine. Hello, everybody. We got 5 more minutes of pre show. Jason was just telling me some of his favorite news from last week since I've been living the life of a traveling salesman.
Yeah. Oh, and then my tip of the week last week to break out of your comfort zone was interesting. I had some people message me and tell me that they like living in their comfort zone, and that's cool, right? If that's what you
Oh,
like,
it is.
that's what you like. But I said there can be a
But
lot
don't
of
you, but you got to watch yourself with that. Like, for example, the first time I went to Paris, I had to drag Jeff. Jeff had no
mhm.
desire to go. He's like, that doesn't seem like my style. There's nothing I would want to do there. I think it's over, like I hear it's overrated. It's this, it's that.
Mhm.
Now Jeff calls Paris when we were trying to figure out some place to go. He calls Paris Old Faithful. And I just stare at this man like,
Yeah. I mean, I told the story last week about how I didn't want to do my first celebrity cruise. I didn't want to do it, and I went kicking and screaming. Did not want to do it, and the rest is history, right? I mean, so it's good to do different things. So yeah, so that was good.
remember,
Yeah,
guys, if you're on Facebook commenting, make sure you put a dash and let us know who you are because it doesn't give us a name for Facebook for some reason. We can see YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, but Facebook, make sure you put a little dash so we know who you are and can say hello. But yeah,
Yes.
4 minutes till we get started. What other articles did you talk about last week? Because the last week feels like a blur to me. I was driving over state lines, flying here.
God, I don't. The Mexico is the biggest news. I actually don't remember. I don't remember.
Facebook. Mark looked at Facebook.
I don't remember. There was, yeah, I don't remember what else was last week. But, so I'm on Scarlet Lady next week.
I wish I could do that. I really wish, but I have too many hotels starting February 1st.
Yeah, so
it would not be a good leadership decision.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting. Going down to Miami a couple days early next week. I'll still be able to do the show. So I'll still be here Tuesday.
Okay.
But
will
that
you
will be
the edition on Tuesday?
Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
Wednesday.
I wasn't sure what you were doing.
Wednesday night, Thursday night, the edition in Miami. You're helping me spend all of my monies at the edition.
I think it's a good experiment for you though. And think of the points you're going to earn off of it too.
That is true. That is true. You still need to help me book a hotel for my sister's college graduation.
That is the money harvesting season for hotels that look like university. It's move-in, graduation.
I wish he had the. I wish he was school. I wish he was in the later ceremony so I could drive out and drive back the same day. But it's like, ugh.
Nobody wants to get up and drive that early.
No, it's 8:30 in the morning Eastern time, like 3 hours away. That's a haul. That is
I don't know if I informed you, but I did connect in DTW again last week, and I got all my appropriate upgrades.
Your appropriate upgrades. I don't have a problem with ATL.
You got in first class going to ATL?
I'm first class going to ATL next week.
But you bought it. So here's the thing. If I want first class for a leisurely trip, I will buy it. But when I'm traveling for work, that gets expensive. If you think about it, in the last 2 weeks, I've done eight flights.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't even flown this year yet.
That can get very expensive because I have some properties that I have to see once a quarter.
Right.
So that gets
okay.
expensive.
I'll at the end of the year, my goal is to have more MQNs than you.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted.
I think that's a great challenge for you and I.
Are we counting rollover? Because I think you started with more than me.
No, we'll count for just this year. What do I?
I started with 83 this year. You started with like 120. You started 120.
I think it was
like 120.
Yeah, I think 120. Although my MQM says I'm at 113. I thought I started a little higher than that.
I thought you did too. You know what? My MQDs will be higher at the end of the year.
Your MQDs.
Well,
well, I don't know. My frequency though.
Yeah. Well, it is top of the hour, Haley. You guys get to see a little bit of what Haley and I do all day. Just talk about travel, flight. This is what we do because we are very, very passionate about traveling. I love doing my travel show with you, Haley, because we come at it from very different angles, different worlds. So, guys, I am Jason Poole. I'm a travel advisor with Cruise Planners, an American Express travel representative. Obsessed with airlines, as you just heard. Love cruises, land resorts. Europe is great. Going to Europe a couple times this year. Just all things to do with travel. But I can't book a hotel without our hotel guru here. Good morning. How are you, Miss Hotel Guru?
Good morning. It's very compatible. We always are asking all the things. Good morning, everybody. My name is Haley. I own a hotel sales support company called Hospitality with a Flair, and I'm also a travel writer because I hate sleeping and just need another hobby. And I love having the show. It's nice that we come from different points of view in the industry, different segments, and it makes for a great thing. Like Jason said, we're here every Tuesday. We also do live broadcasting from our trips, and some of our great followers in our Today in Travel.live community also share some of their live broadcasts, so make sure you check that out. Are you ready to get started, sir?
I am ready to get started. The first story sounds like something from a movie.
That's what I was going to say. I was all pent up and ready to say it.
It is crazy. So, guys, we're bearing the lead a little bit. So, late last week, Crystal Cruise Lines, which is a luxury cruise line, announced they are temporarily suspending operation for a couple months to basically figure out what's next for them. I kind of don't think they're going to make it. You don't just suspend operation.
You said that. You and I were on the phone before all this craziness happened.
Yep.
You're like, I don't think they're going to last this year. I think they're going to go belly up.
I do too.
Almost your exact words to me.
So they announced they're going to suspend for a while. It kind of stinks. There were passengers who had, paid in full, or if they kind of get refunds, or what's happening to the travel advisors who have commission checks coming out. Well, look, Crystal's a luxury line. Those commission checks are massive. Those reservations are massive, right? Well, a judge in Miami issued an arrest warrant for a cruise ship because of unpaid bills.
$1.2 million in fuel.
Yeah, unpaid bills. So Crystal decided, well, our cruise is going to end in the Bahamas. Everybody, get off the ship. So people are just like in the Bahamas. Luckily, there's some ferries that will get you back and forth to Miami very easily. It's a quick flight. If you have travel insurance, you file a claim to get back to the States.
This is another plug for Get Travel
Insurance. I mean, this is insane, right? I mean, this is a crazy story. Luckily, there weren't that many people on board, so the ferry's can accommodate, but just a crazy, crazy story in the cruise world. We'll keep an eye on Crystal. My gut tells me, I feel this way, I would not be booking a Crystal. I would not be giving them deposit money right now if it were me.
Just thinking, 20 years, we're going to see Sebastian Stan starring in.
It's a crazy.
It doesn't feel real.
Crazy. No, it is not. It is not.
Well,
all right, guys. Well,
Jason said we were skipping over this, just so you know, if you want to go look on your own.
Yeah, I mean, there was just every week there's just like a new list, and basically the CDC says don't travel anywhere, and Tennessee's the most scariest place in the world, and here we are. So okay. So England and Scotland announced that if you are fully vaccinated, you are exempt from COVID test, and so you're able to just show your vaccination status and just enter the country for England and Scotland. So great news for those who are fully vaccinated. We're kind of seeing this happen in Europe. Yes, Omicron has been spreading like crazy, but it has been less severe, which has been great. I had COVID, probably Omicron, late last year, and I was sick just for like 3 days. It was like a cold. So good news for those who are vaccinated and want to go to the British Isles. All right. Speaking of vaccinated, the United States government announced that visitors from our northern and southern border have to be fully vaccinated to enter the country. So if you are coming in through Canada or Mexico, you have to show your full vaccination status, not even a partial. So fully vaccinated to enter the country. So that, I think that's a good thing, right? So
yeah, I mean, and keeping in mind, there's also mumblings that the CDC is going to start changing, and we've talked about this, their definition of what fully vaccinated is. Mm-hmm. Like if your vaccines were done last March, you need a booster.
Yeah, so like Viking announced 3 weeks ago, their definition of fully vaxxed is if you are eligible for a booster, you have to have it. So I will not be surprised if we start seeing the definition of what it means to be fully vaxxed to change. So right now it's just the 2 shots of Moderna, 2 shots of Pfizer, the 1 Johnson & Johnson. That's what it is. But I would not be surprised if it is what the definition evolves.
Especially now that Pfizer Biotech, they are entering into trials now for an Omicron variant
Right.
vaccine. So interesting things to come. Next topic, which
Uh,
unfortunately does not benefit Jason.
No, this was great. So Marriott is doing this great new promo now. Basically, if you're staying at any Marriott property, so a W, a Westin, a Marriott, a Fairfield, any Marriott property, between February 8th through May 14th, regardless of when you were booked. So if you booked this a year ago, and you're staying between February 8th and May 14th, you just log online to a portal, sign in, and you're going to get double points for free. So if you are staying somewhere in a Marriott property, just literally fill out a form, get double points, and for doing nothing. Sadly, I'm in a Marriott property like 3 days before this.
It's
So
very sad.
I really wish I could get double points because I would get a lot of points at the Marriott property where I am
And
staying.
this from the hotel side, I'm going to usher you. It is very easy to want to delete all the emails that you get from all these loyalty programs, but they really deserve a once over because a lot of the times hotels and airlines will hide these promos in these emails and they just don't give it to you. Like you have to register for these promotions. So you don't
I
just
don't think
automatically get
I
it.
don't think I get any Marriott emails now that I'm thinking about it.
You do, but I guarantee it is just blinders like, ugh, it's all like if you have
I just
Gmail,
delete.
it's all in that promotional folder. You
Yeah,
don't pay
yeah.
attention to it. But I ended up showing Jarvis a Hyatt one time.
I remember this.
You just got to kind of comb through them. I'm guilty of deleting them, but if you're not registered, you will not get that promotion. So
Yes.
pays to be a little more diligent. All right, Jason, time for a debate. I haven't had one with you in a couple weeks.
Yes. So Haley and I have been kind of discussing about, is first class better on one domestic U.S. carrier than the other? So for this topic, we're basically discussing United, American Airlines, and Delta. Like those are the three legacy carriers. We'll limit it to that. I mean, Tangent, JetBlue, Mint is amazing. There's just not a lot of it, so we'll just
And
asterisk that.
honestly, Southwest does not have that. So,
Southwest
and we're
doesn't
also
have
not
it.
talking about the big seats on Spirit.
No, so really just the three legacy carriers, United, American, Delta. So which first class is better, right? So when people think of first class, it means it's a wildly different experience based on the
Plane.
route, the plane, right? Is it first class Nashville to Atlanta, or is it first class
Atlanta to
J?
LAX.
Right, or is it first class from Atlanta to Amsterdam? Right, like those are all very different experiences. Now, I'm gonna say domestic first class is pretty much the same across all three legacy carriers.
So I would also venture to say that transatlantic, they all run pretty similar as well. Like the legacy carriers going across the pond do not have the traditional first class suite that other foreign airlines do. In essence, it's jacked up business class. Like what we think of as Delta One, for example.
And we're so excited for Delta One.
Is business class on Emirates.
For those who don't know, what's the difference between business class and first class, like on Emirates? What's the difference?
A lot.
Well, so for people who don't know.
So for people that don't know, I assume we're talking that everybody's kind of familiar with the Delta One-ish product. First class is a suite in itself. Like you have a chair that converts to a double size bed potentially in there. You'll get pajamas. There's a shower up front. There's a bar, you have a mini bar in your suite. They're probably the size, I mean, those suites are usually the size of 3 to 4 Delta One-ish
Mm-hmm.
seats. And depending on the airlines, like, isn't it Qatar or is it Etihad? Have these suites where there's only like 6 of them on the plane, so it's like a hotel room.
Oh yeah, no, like they have like a door. I mean, it's a whole experience, right? So in America, we don't have those, right? So we use the term in America, first and business, kind of interchangeably.
Yes.
If you live in Asia, in the Middle East, some of those Middle Eastern airlines, business and first are very different.
Two very different things.
Right? So in America, I think all 3 legacy carriers first class is about the same, right? So like I remember going to
I agree.
I remember going to Greece this summer, and I was on Delta with Delta One. I had friends and clients at American on oh my god, what do they call their first?
Isn't it Admiral something? No, that's their.
No, I forgot what it's called. It's something super generic. Oh my gosh, I can't think
I'm
of it.
gonna look it up while you talk about it.
Yeah, and then I had another friend and client on United and Polaris, and we're sending pictures back and forth of our meals and our seats, and I think it's Premier. I think it's called Premier. I think it's American. I think it's called Premier. And it was pretty much the same across all 3, right? Our meals look the same, our drinks kind of look the same, right? It's a very, very similar experience, right? So when Haley and I joke about, Sky Team, Delta, that's just kind of who we've chosen to align ourselves.
Absolutely. I've, for work, before I made a decision, so in 2017 is when I started traveling a little more for work.
Yep.
And my first couple flights, I got put on all 3 legacy carriers because I'm like, dude, I'm going to sample here. I'm going to sample and then I'm going to pick one and stick to it. Because up until that point, the only flying I was doing was to cruise once or twice a year. And I was flying Southwest free check bags, it was. And I had a very negative customer service experience on 2 separate United flights because I ended up taking one around the same time with my father. Just not to the point of being taken off a plane and duct tape, but just awful customer service. And in the realm that I work in, that is very key to me. Then I flew on American, and it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. It was just, as expected, nothing above and beyond. And then I did a couple Delta flights, and the service was just.
I mean, there is kind of a long-standing thought, at least American versus Delta, is American's hard product is often better, but Delta's soft product is better. So, the customer service, the experience, the food, the drinks.
What did that guy call it? Southern hospitality.
Look, Delta is a Southern company, so of course you expect the Southern hospitality with Delta. So basically, guys, when you hear Haley and I bicker about Delta, we're just versus other people. We're just having fun. If you align yourself with one of the 3 legacy carriers, you're not making a bad decision. Now, speaking of bad decisions, let's talk about our travel tip of the day.
Ooh, I do like this one.
Guys, our travel tip of the day. Stop using cruise line credit cards.
I'm going to even sub hotel credit cards into this to a degree.
Sure. Yep.
Because from the hotel side, unless you're somebody that stays in hotels a lot of the time, especially the entry level to medium level cards, don't have that great of an earning bonus. And now your major, bigger hotel chains, I'm not going to speak to Hyatt on this one, but your IHG, your Marriott, and your Hilton are all going dynamic
Mm-hmm.
and their point structure. So you might think it's wonderful that you got the new Hilton Honors American Express card with a 100 or 200,000 bonus points.
Mm-hmm.
But with the way that it is scalable, and
100,000.
100,000 points could be one night.
Right.
Because you got to remember, a lot of our followers, they have kids in school, or
Mm-hmm.
their teachers. You're taking time off during the busiest times of the year. Those beautiful Hilton, Marriott, IHG properties that are on the ocean during prime time, they're going to be 100,000 points plus a night. I've seen them go up to 200,000.
So it's like, so if you're only doing a cruise or two a year, you don't need a cruise credit card.
No, absolutely
If you're
not.
doing lots of cruises a year and you're traveling a lot, I would argue you need a real travel credit card. Look, the whole point of the cruise credit card is to get you locked in with one cruise line, right? That's the whole reason Norwegian has a credit card, Celebrity has a credit card, Royal Caribbean has a credit card, right? They don't want you to ever leave that brand, which I get it, right? I understand. But let's say you have a Norwegian credit card. Man, I really want to try out the retreat on Celebrity Beyond. It looks great, but I have hundreds of thousands of points with Norwegian. Well, you're kind of stuck, and the redemption rate is terrible. They don't really offer anything as far as like
There's
free
no real
TSA.
perks.
There's no perks. There's no pre-check. There's no global entry. There's no lounge access. There's no, extra points for airline purchases. Like, they're just really, really bad cards. And a lot of cards, like the American Express Platinum card, will get you onboard credit for your cruises. So,
and that's useful. Plus, you get all the other perks like the TSA pre-check, clear. You get the instant Marriott and Hilton Gold status.
Yep. So, guys, do stop using cruise line credit cards. They're just not great, and hotel cards are not great unless you are a huge spender and stay at very expensive properties / resorts all the time.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I cannot wait for the feedback on this one. I'm going to get very soon.
I'm anxious to see the feedback.
I'm going to hear it from people. I can already hear it.
So, for those of you that are just joining, or you're watching this on the replay, we do have an Alaska group cruise this August. If you'd like to join us, you can contact Jason. We are just finishing ironing out the pre-cruise activities. It's going to be a great time. Would love to have all of you. And if you want more details on it, you can always go to our Facebook group, Today in Travel. But Jason, there was one question, since we're kind of early today, only about 20 after. I believe it's Emmy. Do you think that Crystal will be acquired by another line? And Emmy, do you know where they is? Where they are? She says, want to know where the ship is hiding right now.
I can check the marine traffic app. I mean, I can see them filing bankruptcy and some small. I mean, their ships are old. Their ships are kind of small. They'll be probably acquired by some small European line.
I was thinking even like the Indian company that's been acquiring.
Yeah, like something like that. Like I remember being in Mykonos, Santorini this summer on the Apex, and it was like, oh my God, there's the old Splendor of the Seas. Right, so it was just kind of like, rebranded, a small company. So I could see the fleet just being sold off, but I don't think Crystal Cruises, as we know it, is long for this world. We'll see if I'm right or wrong.
There.
All right.
Well, sir, it's always a pleasure. I got to get back. Running an empire is tough.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. If you're watching the replay, join our Facebook group, todayintravel.live. We talk about all things, not just cruises, right? Land resorts, hotel redemption, airlines, travel credit cards. So, guys, thank you so much. Have a great Tuesday, and can't wait to see you guys are traveling next. Bye, guys.
Bye.